Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie, and good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in this crazy world that we're living in. So today we're going to listen to the Jenn Sotos interview. This interview was conducted exactly the same time that Stephan was being interviewed. We watched the Stephan Sterns interview together last night, which culminated, of course, in his complete humiliation and arrest. It was very satisfying, wasn't it, to see him on the receiving end of a bit of embarrassment, etc. Anyway, so I was going to play this Jennifer Soto interview tonight in the members, and I thought no, because everybody wants to see it and people want to make comments on it and things. As I've said before, all I would say is just, be a little bit careful with your comments. I know a lot of people, Jennifer Soto is probably, the most hated woman in America at the moment, but you know what I think? I think she's going through enough, to be honest. I think she's got to get up every morning for the rest of her life knowing that she sent her daughter off to be murdered, albeit unwittingly, in my opinion. Of course, a lot of people don't think it was unwitting. A lot of people think she's more complicit in everything. Everybody has their view, as always. So if you do see someone on here with a different view to you, including me, just be kind, just respect the fact that everybody does look at things in different ways. And, as she's not been actually charged with anything, and we weren't there when it was all going on, and we're not the ones, as I say, that have to wake up every morning knowing that our daughter has been murdered. A little bit of human kindness, I think, doesn't go untoward as far as Jennifer Soto is concerned. I do feel sorry for her. I can't help it. I think she's a fool. I think she was silly. I think she was all those things. But also, we don't know the full story yet. We don't know about the medication. Was he messing with her medication? I'm 100% certain he was messing with Madeline's medication. And why not Jenn as well? That's the sort of person he is. So anyway, we're going to talk about that as we go along. So in tonight's members, so I'm going to do some paranormal tonight. We're going to talk about the twin ghosts of Cholton Park in Manchester, and any other ghost stories maybe that come up. So that's what we're going to do tonight in the Carry On Chatting. We're going to talk about the paranormal a little bit, and a very spooky ghost story from very close to where I grew up. That's what we're going to do. So yeah, if you want to become a member, don't forget you can become a member of the Carry On Chatting members section. It's $4.99 a month. We do a live stream every single week on a Tuesday, which even if you can't get to the live stream, you can catch up later. Also, of course, you get to use the emojis. You get to be able to suggest cases for me to cover. So, and if you're part of the Let's Chat members, please consider upgrading. You don't pay an extra $4.99 to upgrade. If you're paying $1.99 now, when you upgrade, then you're paying God, I can't even, do you know what? I can't even work that out. It's an extra €3 or pounds or whatever it is. There's $4.99 minus $1.99 is $3, isn't it? Yeah. So yeah, you're not paying an extra $4.99 on top of the $1.99 you're paying. You're paying an extra $3 to upgrade. So please consider upgrading. Also, I want to, I need to put on my banner I just want to say thank you to everybody. What reminds me, thank you so much, all of my subscribers. You know, I'm getting towards 4,000 subscribers now. You know, still a little way to go, but I'd like to, if I say it like that, it sounds really good. I'm in the upper end of 3,000, let's say. So, you know, will I make 4,000 by Christmas? I hope so. So if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. It's completely free. You can unsubscribe at any time. If you don't like getting notifications, don't press the notification bell. Or if you do want to get all the notifications, press the notification bell. Special thanks to my members, of course. Special thanks to everyone who sends me a super sticker or buys me a coffee, sends an email. Don't forget to send me the photos of your pets for the animal quiz and, you know, the feel good thing we're going to do at the first week of October, looking at everybody's pets and having a fun animal quiz for a break from true crime that we like to do every now and again, don't we? Have a little party, just have a break, have something light. That's what we're going to do the first week in October. Yeah, so you can send your pets, pictures of your pets, to VickyMarieChats@gmail.com, Vicky with an I. In fact, I'll put it in the chat in a minute. Okay, I'm going to say hello to everybody. There's quite a lot of comments there already, I can see, so you must have been chatting between yourselves. So I'm going to go and say hello, and then we're going to get right on going to get right into the video. Let's have a look. So hi Mello, hi Jojo, hi Annie, hi Kelly. The little membership dog is a Chihuahua. We decided we're going to, a lot of people have got Chihuahuas on my channel. You know, a lot of subscribers and members. So we've got a little white Chihuahua for a bit. And of course, there's always the Chihuahua that comes and barks, sets my dog off. Hi, David. Did I say hello to Annie? Say hello again. Hi, Ninchi. Ninchi, you changed the name of your channel just to confuse us. But of course, you'll like the Chihuahuas as well. Hi, where am I? Bendigo. Hi, Lily Pauly. Yeah, we've got quite a few Australians on this channel. Hi, Tracy. Hi, Shelley. Yeah, we all enjoyed watching Stephan Sterns' humiliation, didn't we? I think that's one thing we can all agree on. We might be a little bit more like that with Jenn, but I think with the thing about with Stephan, we're all in agreement that he's an absolute horrible person. What's the matter? Can you hear me okay? Is it still? Hi, the noose. Yeah, you can't help but feel, you know, until she's actually charged with anything. Has the sound got better? Hang on, I'm trying to get. Can't you hear me? How is let me know how the sound is. Yes, Ninchi, go over to Ninchi's True Crime channel and give her a sub as well. She's trying to get to 2,000 by the end of the year. I mean, the better we can, the better. Sorry, I'm hoping to get to 4,000 by the end of the year. I mean, if I can get to 5,000 by the end of the year, that's even better. But I think that might be a bit optimistic. But I think I've got a realistic chance of getting to 4,000. So let me know about the sound. How is the sound now? Better now. That was strange, wasn't it? That was strange. Don't know why the sound was bad. So let's have a look who we're talking about. So, I mean, there probably won't be people here that don't know what we're talking about. But of course, we're talking about, well, last night we looked at the arrest of Stephan Sterns. We saw, well, we didn't see his button mushroom, thank God, but we saw him being humiliated and being swabbed, and them talking about his freckle and saying if he What did she say, that woman? Oh, if you do anything squirrely, you're eating the carpet. And she didn't look like somebody that you would mess with, did she? So that was good to see. He's there, he's in prison, his trial will be coming up sooner or later. But what we're going to talk about today, or what we're going to look at today, is Jenn's interview that was taking place. So Jenn is Madeline's mum, of course. Oh, so many conflicting thoughts about Jenn. I still am in this thought where I do feel she was groomed as well. I feel like Stephan Sterns made a beeline for Jenn. There'd be a lot of reasons why Jenn would suit him down to the ground, because she got low self-esteem. She was already on medication. She had mental health issues. She had a young girl, Madeline, and we know that that's Stephan's preference, isn't it? He likes young girls. So he would have honed in on Jennifer Soto. And to me, even watching this interview, you can see she's so sort of dependent. That's how she seems to me. She's a very dependent person. And I think, Stephan just saw her coming, personally. And to be honest, I think they were bad for each other. We've seen how they've both deteriorated since they've been together, in the looking after themselves and, getting even more hooked on medication. And I do feel that it's entirely possible that Stephan was messing around with both hers and Madeline's meds. I just think it's entirely possible. So I think Jenn would be easy to put out of the way, wouldn't she? She's not very strong. Like, she started off saying, oh no, you can't have sleepovers, and then she'd go, oh, all right, just this once. She just wanted to sleep all the time. She just, and I'm not excusing her for that. I mean, she should have took more control, and she should have been more vigilant with her daughter. But I still don't necessarily feel that it was a sinister type thing. I just think she's just on another planet. Now, the other thing I think we've got to remember is the police have tried really hard to find something to charge her with. They'll have been through her phone as well as his. They've not found anything. They've not found it. If they would have found any suspicious messages that pointed to the fact that maybe Jenn was complicit in this, she would have been arrested by now. So that's my thought around it. But, I know people are angry with her, but to me, her punishment, she's got to live with it. As I've said before, I'll wake up. I mean, I did dream about Madeline again. The more I do with this case, when I spend a lot of time with it, I do have dreams about Madeline, and they're sort of nightmarish, really thinking about what happened to her and everything. But at the end of the day, sooner or later, I'll move on to another case or things in my life that are going on. But Jenn will wake up every morning as the mother of a murdered girl. And she'll wake up every morning as the person who didn't notice when her child was being abused, and then finally sent her off up to her death, really. The way, knowing what we know now. And Jenn isn't the only one. The more I look into this, a lot of women and men, you don't always know that your child is being abused. I was listening to Gray Hughes Investigates. He was taking phone calls, and this lady rang in who had suffered really more or less what Madeline had suffered from. And she said, my parents aren't bad. She had a mother and a father, all living together. We had a nice, but the abuser, her abuser was so clever. It was a friend of her brother's, and nobody suspected him. And her parents would say to him, oh, you're so good with whatever her name was. You're so good with her, and he would babysit. He would offer to babysit so he could abuse her. And he ingratiated himself with the family. And the things that he said to the girl, like now she's a grown woman, she said he would start off like being all nice. And that's the grooming bit, isn't it? All nice, buying presents, making a big fuss, being the go-to person, you know, you being the one that they think they can go to and talk to. And this happened to this woman. 6 years she was abused when she was a child. And she said, I never even thought of telling my parents, because they start off like with all these lovely things, saying, and then it's threats. Well, you know, if you say anything, you'll end up in care. They won't want you anymore. They won't believe you. You know, so these groomers, they go from extreme sort of love bombing in a way, isn't it? It is love bombing what they do. And it doesn't only happen to children, does it? It happens to adults as well. These coercive controllers start off with love bombing, then it's threats. Then, you know, they're clever. So, you know, I am a little bit sympathetic towards Jenn, and I think people should maybe try and cut her a little bit of slack, unless, of course, she gets arrested because there's something there. Then I will hate her as much as I hate Stephan Sterns. But at this moment in time, I do not hate her. So yeah, Gray Hughes let me use his video of the Stephan Sterns interview, because I'm presuming it's there in this massive pack of information that I've got. I haven't even had a chance to go through it. Oh my God, been sent so much information. Now that I've worked out how it works, some of it I would have already had, but it's in the cloud. You have to go into the cloud and they keep adding it to it. Anyway, I've got the Jenn interview. That's what we're going to look at, the Jenn interview that I was sent. And I managed to download that okay, because it's not as long as the other one. So the Stephan Sterns one I still haven't managed to download because it's on a thing with other interviews, and every time my computer tries to download it runs out of space before it gets to the end. But anyway, so this actual video that we're going to look at now, this was sent to me directly from the Orange County Police Department. No charge. I just want to make this clear all the time. I haven't had any charge for any of the things that have been sent recently. The crime scene photos that we're going to be going through one day. I've got so much information. I haven't even had a chance to look through it. But I have not been billed for any of it. So, right, let me just make sure I haven't missed anybody else coming in. Exactly, Kelly, that woman in France. I don't think people understand. If somebody's drugging you and you're already a little bit skitsy, and, you know, she was taking her own medication, and then if he was doubling it up, you know, it's, you know, it's not beyond the realms of possibility, is it? And I don't think that woman in France and other women and men probably, I don't think it's the first time, and it won't be the last time. I am Ninchi. I'm talking about Jenn. Maybe one day we can do a bit of a live about it when I sort these photos out and everything. If there's anything you need to make any videos or whatever, ask me and I'll have a look in this massive bundle and send it to you. Okay, so let's start. So now, personally, I think right from the beginning, as soon as I looked at Jenn in this interview, I think she looks so forlorn. Honestly, I really feel for her. I just think she's like, does she? Don't forget, this was an interview done on the 28th of February, the day that was it the 28th when Stephan was arrested. So it's quite a while ago. I did think she was still in denial. You know, all this talk about, oh, well, she said to his dad he needs a lawyer. Jenn was convinced in the first couple of days, until she saw the photos and saw that it was Stephan. She was convinced that Stephan hadn't done anything. Don't forget, somebody had supposedly been seen at the car park near the schools who was supposed to be Madeline. So in her head, she's thinking, oh, Madeline was dropped off. Can't be Stephan. She just wasn't computing it. She didn't want to believe it. It'd be interesting to see where she's at now, wouldn't it? Is she, you know, less dopey now because she's not being double drugged up? No, there's a lot of things. I'd like to see a recent interview with her. Maybe we'll get to see her at the trial and see what she looks like. But I just think, God, how's she living with this? But anyway, let's have a look at this video. Down. What am I looking for? Hang on. Ah, right. Share screen. Okay, so you should be able to see that now. It's a very nice interview room. I'll say that for it. It's called the soft room. Camera 1 in the soft room. So it's nice. Got a comfy sofa. It's got a clock up on the wall. It's what you were. It's a lot nicer. That's the other thing as well. Remember the room Stephan was put in? Wasn't like this, was it? Wasn't comfortable. You know, I think the police, right from the beginning, they're treating Jenn, aren't they, differently than they were treating Stephan. Because when they took Stephan in that interview room, which was literally as basic as you can get, they knew they were going to arrest him, didn't they, at the end of it? So whereas with Jenn, they're treating her more as a witness than a culprit. And they'll have already been all through the phones and everything. I don't think they can't have found anything that implicates Jenn, or she would be right now as we speak behind bars. But anyway, let's have a watch. So, like some people, I've watched like this video on other channels, and some people say, "Oh, she's so calm and she's so this." I think she just looks completely defeated. To me, her body language is just like, look, you know, she looks like he looked so much older, didn't he? She looks at least 10 years older than she is, if not more. I think, you know, the trouble is sometimes we try and put how we think we would react on other people, but you know, I don't know how I would react. I would think I would be going mad. I'd be really angry. But then I'm not on medications. Also, I've not got bipolar disorder. Well, as far some of my ex-boyfriends would tell you that I do. I did have one ex-boyfriend that used to call me bipolar Betsy. You know, but as far as I know, I haven't been diagnosed with any of these things. So, of course, I'm not going to act the same as Jenn. Jenn acts the way Jenn acts. And there's various reasons for that. So don't forget, she's been in a relationship with Stephan for a long time. She won't want to be believing this. I think for a lot of people who are out there criticizing her, just think, if this was you, and tomorrow you're put in a room and you're being told that your partner, your husband, your whatever, brother, your father, whoever has been abusing your child, would you believe it? Initially, you'd be in complete denial and you would want proof. If that person had only ever been kind and nice, you know, she said he'd never been aggressive. She said he used to lose his temper sometimes, like road rage and things like that. Well, who doesn't? But you see what I'm saying? So this is a day in. She doesn't even know yet that Madeline actually is deceased. So to me, she just looks completely defeated. That's what I would say. So just like I was thinking about Stephan, I wonder what she's thinking. What is she thinking? You know, she's convinced by then, she thought that Madeleine had been taken, that Stephan had dropped her off, that was Madeleine that was seen at the car park, and that Madeleine had been taken. But what is she thinking about? Maybe she does know something. I mean, I don't know for sure. I'm just telling you my thoughts.
My name's Kevin. I work for the North County Sheriff's Office. I'm here back to take a small one for myself. The goal, obviously, is the police department's doing most of this investigation around the North County Sheriff's Office. Our people, we have resources out there, obviously, doing active support. So, it's kind of what you do. Take a small is kind of where you're reading the timeline and everything else. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
So just to let you know, sometimes they go, you know, some bits are redacted, so it will go quiet every now and again.
Yeah, we'll start with Sunday. Take it through Sunday. Yes, ma'am. Actually, yes. So actual tissues. I give you total.
So Sunday, birthday party. She spent the whole day at my mom's house. We celebrated with the whole family. I was at work. I just started a new job last week. Walt Disney World at Coronado Springs. Front desk concierge. Yeah. I was finishing up my last day of, no, it wasn't even my last day of training. I was still in the middle of training. Sunday, middle of training.
She definitely has trouble thinking about things, and that's probably is the meds. And has she been on double meds? Honestly, I'd really be interested to hear her speak now that Stephan's not in that household and she's on, you know, she'll be still taking her meds, I suppose, but she won't be, you know, has he been double dosing her? It's like she can't remember anything, you know. And that woman in France, she said the same thing, that she thought she was suffering from early onset dementia because she couldn't, you know, get her head around things. And she not realizing that she'd been drugged. I mean, do you know there was somebody else as well? Do you remember? I don't know if you remember the case of Helen Bailey, the author, and her husband, Ian. He was drugging her. And she was like going to the doctors and everything, thinking there must be something wrong with her. She wasn't on any medication, but he was drugging her and making her sleepy, it turns out later. And he ended up murdering her and putting her in the cesspit underneath the house, her house, with the dog. There's a video about that on my channel. This is not unheard of. You know, I don't think it would be beyond Stephan at all to be double dosing Jenn.
I couldn't commit to go to her birthday party, so I went to work. It was my family all day. She had the best day. She was so happy when I got home and I saw her. At my house around 8:30 that night. ready for bed. She was doing her routine, so she took her nighttime meds and she got in the shower to get ready for bed.
What meds? What does she take?
She takes hydroxyzine.
Okay. What is it for?
It's for anxiety and for sleep.
Okay.
Could she take that by herself, or would he have given that to her?
I think she took it by herself. She got home and she had already taken it.
How do you know that?
That's what he told me.
That's what he told
Yeah. Now notice Jen, a lot of the times she says things like, oh, this happened and that happened. And when he challenged her then and said, because she said, oh, I got home, she'd already taken it, her hydrodoxine or whatever it's called. And he said, how did you know that? And she said, because he told me. I think this is like a dawning on Jen, that all these things that she's saying that happened, it's because he told her that's what happened. Do you know what I mean? And there were things like when she was saying, oh, we dropped her off at school, or we did this. And people think, does that mean you did? She's just talking as a family collective. So when she just said then to those police, those detectives, she'd already taken a tablet. When he challenged her, she admitted it's because he told me. She's just, she had up to this point, really, she's got no, if you got in and your husband, if your child was on something for whatever, and your husband, you said to your husband, has she taken her tablet, or he taken his tablet, and your husband said, yeah, you wouldn't challenge it, would you? You just wouldn't. You'd just assume that they were telling you the truth. And I think Jen, there's a lot of realizations come to Jen, in my opinion, during this interview. He told me.
He was there when you got home. You got home there or anything from it?
I don't like her taking her meds without somebody visually seeing and watching her. I don't want her to accidentally grab the wrong pill. She's comfortable enough to grab the pill out. I'm like, no, I need to watch you take them.
Is there a petition that in the past when you took too many or took the wrong thing? Or just like a thought in your mind?
No, just a thought in my mind, just me being kind of vigilant. I want to physically watch her take the meds and watch her grab two, take them. I don't ever want there to be an accident of she took too many, or she took. My biggest fear is that she would take Adderall by accident, her daytime meds. I got home around 10:30. I started getting ready for bed myself. I started eating and taking my meds after taking meds. When I went to take my meds, I realized, oh my God, I forgot to take my Saturday night's meds, which is why I felt so weird, so abnormal, and not myself Sunday. While I was at work, everyone at work noticed I was acting different and not being myself, and I couldn't smile in front of the guests. I felt this wave of depression that I haven't felt in years. It was my bipolar symptoms coming up again that I've been medicating myself for all this time. I realized I forgot to take my meds, and I said, you guys, I need a good night's sleep. I need to take my meds. I sent them to sleep upstairs in the guest bedroom so that I could get a good night's sleep. Suggested that we all sleep together in the same bed together, but not the easiest person to sleep with. She rolls around, she punches, she kicks. We have a king size bed, and she typically sleeps on one side, and she'll end up on my side when we wake up. So I asked her, no, please, I need a good night's sleep. If you guys could go upstairs and let me sleep. I had asked Stephan to take her to school in the morning.
We'll go to Sunday. So Sunday you take your meds. What meds, if you don't mind me asking, what meds do you take? I mean, how does it put you to sleep deep? Does it help you fall asleep, or does it help regulate you? What kind of happens when you take the meds?
So they do all of the above. They make me sleepy. They help me stay asleep, and they help me function, so I'm stable all day. They only work well if I've got a good night's sleep, and if I've eaten with them the night before when I take them, or the night I take them. the medication is called Generic brand is called Difrazidone. I took my meds, and then I told them to start getting ready for bed, to start heading upstairs and get ready because it was already almost 11 o'clock. It's past her bedtime. She needs to go to sleep. So I sent them upstairs. I think he may have come down at one point to pee before bed, and then he went back upstairs. He uses my back restroom because the roommates upstairs don't want to share a restroom with a male. Yeah, so he uses my restroom.
Now that's interesting, isn't it? Like the other women didn't want him using, because the other housemates were women and they didn't want a man using there. I don't blame him. Oh my God. If you can get away with just having your own private bathroom, no men in there. Sorry, men that are out there. But, generally men don't leave the restroom. Well, the restroom, we don't call it a restroom, the bathroom. But generally, men don't leave the bathroom in a brilliant state, do they? Generally. I know some men do, so we shouldn't generalize. But anyway, her housemates didn't want a man in their restroom, so he didn't go in the bathroom upstairs. He would come down to use her bathroom. That's interesting. But of course, what those roommates didn't know, he was videoing them secretly under the door, of course, wasn't he? God.
Sunday night he came downstairs, maybe overnight to use the restroom.
Yeah, and then.
So I don't know if you noticed then, but she sort of went off in a world of her own, and then she forgot what she was saying. So she said, sorry, what were you asking me? I wonder if something occurred to her then. I think with Jenn, all through, time after this happened, there'd be things now coming into her head that she should have seen. Signs, you can always see signs in hindsight. You can, I look back over my ex-partner and his stalking, that he ended up stalking me. When I look back now, right from the beginning, before we were even in a relationship, he was showing stalking behavior. But I didn't register at the time. I didn't know he was going to turn into a stalker. Just he would do things like if I was off work, this before we were in a relationship, but we worked at the same place. If I was off work ill, he would find out somehow. And I'd get flowers at my door or a card or pushed under the door. Or, when I look back now, just little things like that, I think, well, really, it was too much what he was. So you get these, what I'm saying, this hindsight is a wonderful thing. And I bet there's loads of things that Jenn now, since, has thought back and thought, oh, God, why didn't I see that? Why didn't I notice that? It should be driving herself mad, I think. I don't think she needs everybody else's condemnation, because I think she's going through enough torture probably in her own head.
I was woken up at some time. For the longest time, I've been saying he woke me up at 8 o'clock in the morning because I assumed he was taking her to school and getting ready for school. But in reality, I don't know what time he woke me up. The sun was out a little bit, it was still a little dark, and I was very sleepy. When I got up, I was kind of drunk. But he came in to walk the dog, to put the leash on the dog and walk him.
Was the dog in the
Yeah, she said, I was very sleepy. I was kind of drunk. Did he slip some extra medication? Don't forget, he'd been away for quite a long time, hadn't he? So he's probably dying to get back to Madeline, because he hadn't been there for ages. So he'd not been able to do anything to Maddie. He was probably dying for that night, like looking forward to it, getting back in the groove that he was in before. And he, did he give Jenn more tablets? She said she woke up and she felt drunk. And then he came in to get the dog, which I still think now he came in to get that other croc. and he wasn't expecting Jenn to wake up. And when she woke up, he said he was coming in for the dog, because she says, I think it's in this interview, he never did that. He never came into her room to get the dog or get the leash or whatever. She'd never been woken up by him before.
Yes.
So did he wake you up on purpose, or was it just kind of like the causation of him opening the door and you realizing something was there?
Yeah, the causation of him putting the leash on the dog, because the way the dog reacted, he gets very nervous and will urinate. If you put the leash on him too directly, you have to like be nice and talk to him. Yeah, he's a nervous dog, yeah. So I got up to try to help him, and he said, no, go back to sleep. I'm fine, I got this. And I said, sure. I said, yeah. So I laid back down and went to sleep. I heard noise in the kitchen, but I'm not sure who it could have been getting ready. But it could have been Stephan, it could have been any of my roommates. I fell asleep again, and I didn't wake up, I think, until 9 o'clock in the morning.
Did you ever leave the bedroom in that time frame? So he came in, you were kind of woken up based on him interacting with the dog, but you stayed in bed, you didn't leave the bedroom. So you woke up at like 9, so you never let him. So the last time you would have been Sunday evening. Okay. You're fine. Take a minute. While you take a minute, I was going to ask you earlier, has anybody reached out to you during the time that you've been investigating this? Stuff had anything else? Negative, positive, neutral?
My best friends have all been in contact with me, just trying to help me. There's like, setting up Facebook groups, flyers,
No negative interactions with the public or anything? Nobody's like reached out with tips or accusations or anything like that?
not that I've seen. I've been avoiding social media because my family's telling me to not go on.
Oh my God! I mean, she hasn't even seen the social media. This woman. I mean, I don't blame her family for saying to her, avoid social media. He just asked her, "Are you not seeing any negative?" I mean, it was only the 28th. I bet she's seen quite a lot of negative stuff since. But she's just honestly, in my opinion, she's just oblivious in her own world. There's something very. What's the word? There's something very forlorn about Jenn. I don't know. She's totally self-engrossed in every way, but also just wouldn't. Honestly, some women, I know some of you out there, you think, oh, you would have noticed, you would have known. I don't think you would.
Would you be okay with our digital people looking at your phone to verify there's no stuff coming in the socials, text, things like that? You have a phone?
Yeah.
What they'll do is they'll plug it in, they'll do a forensic download of it so they have the data. That way they can go through it and say, we didn't receive things, here's the communications in and out, things like that. So what's your password?
030288.
030288.
Is that a birthday?
My birthday.
What's your birthday?
Yeah.
Your birthday's tomorrow.
Today's the first.
Oh. Oh. Well, to me, that just seems genuine to me. I know some people think it isn't, but I don't get that feeling from her. It's not genuine. I think she is genuinely upset. And I think the police think that as well, because that's why they've not arrested her. They've got nothing to pin on her. She's done nothing criminally wrong All she's guilty of is being a bit, I don't know, being dopey. And until we get the proper results, toxicology, etc., I wonder if they did test her as well, because of course Madeline will have tested, and they were asking about cannabis drugs, weren't they, and things like that. They definitely know a lot about what Madeline had in her system. I don't know if they tested Jenn. I wish they had tested her. I hope they did. Oh.
That way they get that going, so we can get it back to you before we're on here. I don't keep it from you.
So you said about 9 o'clock on Monday, you wake up.
Yeah. I wake up. I have a doctor's appointment. I leave sometime between 9:30 and 9:45. And I head over there. It's blood work appointment. The appointment's for 10:15, but they take a while to see me.
Where was your appointment at?
LabCorp. And do you want me to tell you exactly which one? Oh, I have my phone.
When we get back, we'll.
It's it's the LabCorp across the street from the Loop in Kissimmee. I finished there sometime between 11:15, and I headed home. When I got home, Stephan was there. I had talked to him a little bit earlier while I was waiting for my blood work appointment, and he let me know, oh, I'm so sorry, I left my phone at home by accident. School, everything went great. She got up super early, got up really quick. She slept most of the way in the car. I asked her multiple times if she wanted McDonald's, but she said no. Because that was the plan, was that they were going to stop at McDonald's that morning to go get breakfast. He said that he had gone to the vape shop. They were closed, they didn't open. So he waited there for a while and left. And then said he was going to go back.
God, that bloody vape shop. I wonder why he was so insistent on the vape shop, because that was the most ridiculous part of his story, wasn't it? He knew that the vape shop didn't open for another hour, but he still went there apparently to sit there. It's just ridiculous. Why did he say, why was he so insistent he went to the vape shop? The vape shop must be near somewhere where he passed, and there's a reason why he kept going on, bleating on so much about the vape shop, even though it wasn't anywhere near opening time.
When I saw him at the house, everything was normal. We were chatting, we were talking. He was acting normal. He was sitting in my computer chair, just messing around with his phone. While we were hanging out, he mentioned something along the lines of, oh man, I've been avoiding this phone update for a really long time. I should probably update it now. And I said, do it. Don't avoid it. Just get it over with. And he updates his phone. And then tells me, oh my god, I don't know what button I just pressed, but I just factory reset my entire phone. And I said, how the hell is that happening? Are there options now when you reset your phone? He goes, yeah, apparently I wasn't paying attention and I just pressed the button and it happened.
There you go, the famous factory reset. So the thing is, I just don't think, you can never underestimate how calm people can be when they're doing terrible things. So we can presume that Stephan at some point has killed Madeleine. Don't know if he'd taken her body off by then or what he'd done. But he's there just sat chatting to Jenn, like, chewing the cud, like having a little chit chat, as he said, talking about his, oh God, I've just factory reset my phone. Honestly, I really do. I think for somebody who's not deceptive, it's very difficult to take on board how deceptive somebody can be. Literally, people don't believe things because they it's like if you see a ghost. To me, it's like, oh my God, if you thought you'd seen a ghost, literally, you talk yourself out of it. You talk yourself out of things. You think, nah, that couldn't be. I honestly don't think people understand sometimes how easy deceptive people can deceive good people, or, dopey people, or, people who don't think in the same way as them.
I said, oh, that's unfortunate. That sucks. Later on, he tells me he's going to go back out, and I think this is around 12:30, 1 o'clock.
Still on Monday.
Yes, still Monday. 12:30 in the afternoon, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. He tells me he's going to go back out. He's going to stop at a few gaming shops, and then he'll meet me at the house at 2:30. So he left. I hung around the house for a while, waiting for 2:30 to roll around. 2:30 rolls around, and I'm already calling Stephan, and he's not picking up his phone. 2:30 comes, I leave. About 10 minutes later, I get a phone call from him going, I just got back home. I left my phone home again. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, he waited till she went before he went back home. He said that in his interview, didn't he? So she tried to ring him, couldn't get him. He said he'd left his phone at home. Did he though? I don't. Anyway, and then he's waited till she's gone, and then he's gone back 10 minutes later. He said he arrived home about 10 minutes after she left. That was definitely deliberate, because he was going back to, I don't know, clear up a bit, find, sort. Who knows? I mean, the police will have a timeline. But yeah, I think it would be all dawning on Jenn that everything probably he said to was a load of rubbish.
How long ago did you leave? And I said, about 10 minutes ago. He goes, I'm so sorry, I missed it. I really wanted to go with you. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
It's fine. I figured he wasn't going to make it, because when I looked at the time when he left, he said he was going to visit 3 shops. I didn't think he had enough time to visit them. He told me while he was gone that he got a flat tire somewhere on 182. The wheel just shredded, fell apart. So he was changing the tire, and it took him a really long time to do it. He said he hurt his thumb while changing the tire, like the frame or something slipped and something pinched his finger, and he ended up having to yank it out.
Now, remember in that interview last night, when they were taking the photos and the swabs from Stephan, they were at great pains to take those photos of his hand, weren't they? They must think something, they must have some idea of how he actually injured himself, got those scratches on his hand, because he said he did it with the tire iron, didn't he? But the police were very, when that lady was taking the photos, they were very specific of, they took a lot of photos of his hand. So they must think, they must have their own ideas how he did that.
He said he hurt his finger.
I want to touch on something real quick. When you were calling him, he eventually told you that he left his phone there. Did you hear the phone at the house?
No. If it was anywhere, it would have been upstairs, and I wouldn't have heard it. It would have been in the guest
Do
bedroom.
you typically go upstairs?
Who, me?
Yes.
Only for doing laundry. get off the phone with him. I'm wait for about an hour and 10 minutes. 4:04, the bell rings, and I'm waiting. I'm the first in line. And she doesn't come back.
You were in your car.
I was in my car, in the car lot. At this point, it's been a few minutes. She should have been out by now, because she's usually one of the first kids out. She knows I'm the front line. And I'm holding up the line behind me, because there's kids getting in the cars behind me. They're all waiting. They can't get around me, right? So I start calling her, forgetting that I have her phone on me. I had found her phone earlier that morning. She had left it at home. And I brought it with me because she does this often. She does leave her phone.
Where was the phone at the house?
It was on top of the dresser in her bedroom.
Downstairs.
Downstairs.
Okay.
So, just so you know, I have a 4-bedroom townhouse. The living room has a partition in it, a fake wall kind of thing. That's got her bedroom in it. That's got a bed, a dresser, and a desk on it. Does she sleep there? No. She'll hang out.
I've got all these photos now of the house, and we'll go through those one day. You know, we'll be able to see Madeline's bedroom.
There, she'll use her computer and hang out there. That's her hangout spot. But she primarily sleeps with me every night in my bed. That's because I know the roommates wake up super early in the morning. They're going to be in the kitchen. They're going to wake her up if she's sleeping out in the living room. So I don't.
So your bedroom downstairs, her makeshift bedroom downstairs, guest bedroom upstairs.
Yes. Her dresser. Her phone was on her dresser. When I found it, I was like, oh my gosh, she's going to phone her. It's great. I brought it with me to the school because I was just going to yell at her and then just hand it to her so she could have something to do on our way home. 4:10 rolls around and she's still not out, or 4:09. And then at this point, I'm feeling the pressure from the cars behind me. I'm like, okay, they're all full, they're all waiting for me to leave. She's not here yet. So I take off. And I'm thinking, maybe I missed her. Maybe I forgot to tell her I was picking her up from school today because I don't know if she knew that I wasn't working. I don't know if she knew if I was off. So I asked, I don't know if I told her that I was going to get her. So I left thinking maybe she walked. That's pretty close to school. If I can't pick her up at school, that's where I tell her to. I drove the path she would have walked. I didn't see her. I got to the office. And she goes, no, it's a little too early. I said, okay. Let me go drive back down and wait along the path she would walk and just wait. And I parked and I waited. I waited. I don't know what I waited. Maybe somewhere between 5 to 10 minutes. She still wasn't there, and I looked at the time and I'm like, okay, she should be back around our office by now. Maybe she took it to the path and I didn't see. So I went, no, she's still not here. And I'm like, that's really strange. So I call. I don't know if I text her. I call. I think I text her. And I asked, hey, or I called. No, I called her. I asked, and she said, no, she didn't make it to first or second period. And I said, what do you mean? She was dropped off close to the school. She should have been in school. She goes, no, she didn't make it to first, second period. I said, please check with the rest of your friends. See if she made it to her any of her other periods. At some point in this, I emailed one of her teachers asking, I actually emailed a few of her teachers, and two of them responded. One of them said, no, she did not make it to class, and I checked her attendance for the rest of the day. She wasn't at school at all. Like, he sent me a screenshot of, like, her attendance, and it said 0, 0, 0.
You still have it on the phone?
Yes. If you need to know what app, I'll tell you what app. It's a special school. He said she was missing all day. And at this point, I started to panic and freak out because that can't be the case. She was dropped off. I had to go check her attendance at school, but the office had closed already. The lights were off.
That is a sinking feeling. I've had that feeling when my son was young. When he was at school and going through, I didn't realise at the time, but I had a phone call while I was in class teaching Spanish. The school rang. Is Jack okay? They say this was a Wednesday or a Thursday. And I said, well, yeah, what do you mean? Is he okay? Yeah, he's fine. Isn't he at school? No, he's not been in school all week. So he'd not been in school all week. So, and he wasn't in school at that moment. I had to go round and find him anyway. It's a bit of a long story, but anyway, he was fine. He was wagging it from school. So, but that sinking feeling, you know, I had to clear out my classroom. I had to say to my students, look, I've got to go and find him. You know, it's all going through your head. Crikey, you know, what's up? Where is he if he's not at school? And he was about that age, 13, I think, at the time. So it's a sinking feeling that, oh my God, you know, and you just, anyway, it turned out okay for me, but unfortunately not for Jen or Maddie.
Sitting in there in the darkness, but I couldn't see any of the administrators or anybody in the office. Lights were off, everything was closed. They wouldn't allow me in. I think at this point the teacher had responded to me and told me she didn't make it to school at all. I start having like a freak out panic attack.
Are you still just you at this point? Is it you and Stephan?
It's me and my sister. And I want to say when I was Catherine. I start panicking and I think at this point I call Stephan and I tell him, hey, she didn't make it. She's absent today. There's no attendance of her at all today. Only right now. And he said, okay, I'll be there. And he came to the office. And for like 3 hours, I think. Eventually I contact one of my friends whose husband works for, or ex-husband works for OCD, or for you guys. Yeah. And I messaged him and I talked to him and I asked him what I should be doing because you guys aren't responding quick enough.
You know his name? Where he works?
Yes. Nick Mann.
Okay.
Or Mahon. Not
Do you
sure.
know what he does here?
I think he works for SWAT.
Okay. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
He tell you to wait.
I think he let us know that there were other kids missing in the area, which is why you guys weren't responding quick enough. I think an 8 and a 9-year-old had gone missing around the same time too. In a playground, they forgot to tell. They didn't tell their mom they were going to the playground or something like that. So all the cops were over there on that side of Hunter Street. My sister's boyfriend, ex-boyfriend, whatever he is, thought it would be a good idea to go to the park and talk to a cop there and see if he could bring a cop back, and that's what he did. And then at that point, that's when the cops started asking us questions, taking a report. Interviewing me, they interviewed Stephan. They asked Stephan to take them back to the location where he dropped them off, and he showed them wherever he dropped her off. They were looking for cameras along the path, and I don't think they found any cameras along the way. So these are video recordings. I think.
Did Stephan go with them in their patrol cars, or did he drive himself and they followed him?
I think he went with them in the patrol car. Then they came back. Then that's it. Everything was done. Cops were done. out there.
You say ugly cry, just overly emotional tears, wake up running, or like, what is your meaning of ugly cry?
Sobbing where I couldn't see the road and I shouldn't have been driving, like I was swerving.
Makes sense. Fox 35 come out to your house, or what was their response?
They responded the following day. I think we did a Zoom video interview.
Did Stephan follow you on?
I don't know if you followed.
So we saw that video, didn't we? Do you remember the video, the Fox video? She was talking to the reporter and Stephan was in the background hovering and cracking his knuckles. That was Jenn that had phoned Fox News and tried to set up the interview.
I mean, was it within a reasonable time when you got there?
Yes. Drove home. We waited there. We didn't know what to do. I stayed up late. I think I called Fox 35. I think I had to eventually eat and take my medication.
Now, don't forget, what she's talking as if this was ages ago. This was the day before. No, this is the 1st of March. The day that, this is the 1st of March. So the day, what she's talking about was that the 28th or the 27th. So she's only talking about a couple of days ago and she can't remember. That's her medication.
He told me he was going to go out cruising that night to go look for her.
Yeah.
And I said, I even questioned that. I asked him, are you sure it's a good idea? You should probably sit tight. Let's just wait to see if she comes home. He said he was going to take a drive out. I had completely forgotten about him wanting to take the drive or that he actually did it. And it wasn't confirmed to me until the following day where agents came to the house and we sat in the car for a good amount of time. And I noticed the chair was adjusted. And I said, did you drive my car? And he said, yeah, remember I said I was going out last night? That's right, you did say that.
Did he tell you where he looked?
I think he said up and down 192. And I said, why there? And he's like, I don't know, I'm just looking. I was just trying to look anywhere. And I'm just like, okay.
Did you say if you found anything or talked to anybody, or just roamed?
Oh.
When you felt when you were getting ready for bed, you were tired emotionally. Were you falling asleep when you left, or were you asleep when you left?
I was already asleep on the left.
Okay, did you sleep downstairs? In your bedroom? When you woke up, was he already awake? Was he still sleeping?
So what? Nothing stops these people sleeping, does it? That or those medications must be bloody brilliant because nothing stops them sleeping.
He was asleep in his bedroom upstairs.
The guest bedroom?
Yeah.
Did you take your medication?
I did.
What did you guys do Tuesday? Or just you guys, if you're not together, what's the timeline on Tuesday?
Tuesday, he slept. I woke up early and started making phone calls to like the national hotline for missing and exploited children. I called the number that the sheriff's office had given me to see if they had any information. They let me know that she was like the investigator. Like, what did she say she was? I don't remember what she said her position was, but she had just gotten into the office and was just starting to work on it, so she didn't have anything for me. Her name is Bob Mitchell. She asked me to send her some photos. The National Exploited Children's Hotline please ask me for photos as well. I think at this point, I had asked my friends and family to start contacting news outlets to try let him know that they took flyers all the way to Orlando International Airport and posted them all over the place in case she was being trafficked. They suggested that I go to Amtrak and Greyhound. I had my sister making all these ones for me. I didn't leave the house to do any of this.
Stephan Sterns.
Yeah. Eventually, reporters come to the house and do an interview. And at this point, Stephan was awake. I did an interview with them, and then Stephan was crying in the background, and I said, Stephan, do you want to do the interview? You can if you want. And I sat in front of the camera and did an interview where he cried.
You know which example that was with? I know there's a video on Fox 35
With him sitting.
to be on like a webcam.
Yeah, that was Zoom. He was sitting in the background for me.
Okay.
I know
But you
that
had
one.
in-person interviews with reporters.
Yes. I want to say it was Channel 9.
Okay.
Yeah, Channel 9.
And he spoke to them.
Yes. And he ugly cried in front of the camera too, so he was fucking big sob crying.
Are you saying that now, or do you?
I'm saying that now. I didn't think that at the time. At the time, I thought he was truly heartbroken and now that he had done all this shit to her. Like, I look back at shit now and just like, he was fucking lying. He was fucking faking. What else has he been lying to me about? I know he's like a master liar and manipulator because he's done it to his parents, and he's told me and shown me the lies he's done to his parents.
Well, there you go. There's your red flag, Jen, isn't it? So she knows that he's lied to his parents and stolen money off them and all that because he told her. So she knew, she did know he was a liar and everything. So now, honestly, I reckon for Jen now, everything that he's ever said to her, practically, she'll be going through it. You know, here we are, we're quite a few months down the line from this interview now. This was March, we're now in September. She's, she's had all that time to think. I bet there's loads of things that she's thinking about now over the years, because they were together a long time. I mean, he wasn't just someone she'd only met a couple of months ago. They've been together a few years. So there'll be loads of things she'll be going through. She'll be talking it over with her family. They'll be telling her things that maybe they didn't want to tell her before because she was with him. You know, sometimes you don't like to say to someone that their boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever is a twonk when they're together. You know, there'll be things have come out. I bet there's loads that she knows now that she wished she would have known then or wished she would have realised. But of course, a big red flag for her was the fact the way he treated his parents. If he treated his parents like that, why should she think that she'd be treated any differently or Madeline would?
But I don't know why I never thought, not me.
Yeah, not me, no.
The lies are about money, they're about where he's at, what he's doing. Was he
Yeah, all that.
to his parents?
Yeah, he's stolen money from his parents. They used to have a few $1,000s hidden in like a closet for emergency fund kind of thing. And during COVID, he wanted RC cars. See, if he wants something, he's gonna get it, no matter what. So he wanted RC vehicles, their remote control cars, fancy ones. They were a few $100s, and I'm poor. I know I can't afford it, and he's showing up at home with these things. And I asked him, "Where are you getting the money from? Because we don't have this money." He goes, "Oh, my dad." And I said, "Your dad gave you money?" He goes, "No, I took some from his closet." And I was like, "Like they have an emergency stash?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "He's gonna notice money's missing." And he's like, "No, he won't. It's so much money in there, he won't notice it all."
Yeah, so his parents who think the sun shines out of his ass, and that it's all Jennifer's fault, or Madeline's fault for being so precocious, or it's everybody's fault, isn't it? Except their precious son. He's been stealing money off them for years. So, God, I hope they're watching this. Why can't they see that he is a twonk? I know it's difficult to admit that your own child is a twonk, Of course it is, but you've got to be, you have to recognise it. Doesn't mean you don't love them, even. You still love them with all their frailties, with all their imperfections. This is pretty extreme one, actually abusing a child. But, that his mother even said, oh, well, she was getting precocious, Madeline. Like it was Madeline's fault as a 13-year-old. Then it was Jenn's fault. Jenn was bipolar, bisexual, and a drug addict. That's how she described her. But no, her little son, no. And the father, they're exactly the same. And now, it turns out, he's been stealing money off him for years. So this son that they thought was like, God's gift, was treating them like mere debt as well.
I confirmed with Chris later on that he did notice money, but he never asked his son. But I let him know, yeah, he was robbing you and just buying himself toys. He's also lied. Most recently, he lied to his parents about where he would be. He told them he would be at his friend's house playing video or board games or something like that, but in reality, he came all the way to Kissimmee to hang out with us.
Yeah, so he was telling them lies as well, like a teenager. I mean, he never grew up, did he? He's like the Peter Pan, but the sinister Peter Pan, who never grew up, still acting like a teenager, lying to his parents about where he's going, stealing money off them, and not stealing money off them, to pay the rent, buy food, essential, pay the bills, stealing money off them to buy games and bloody cards, these silly, I don't know, game cards and things. That he wasn't stealing the money, to live. He was stealing the money to buy his little extra childish things.
After all the interviews, you stayed Wednesday, which I know we'll get to the detectives who meet you guys Wednesday, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Were you guys in the house together until the detectives came?
Yes.
What kind of happened after the detectives came?
Do you feel like everything starts to get blurry?
Well, I get it, trust me, we've been in this office for like 3 days straight.
Yeah, so I just don't remember what day I had conversation with you guys.
Tuesday night, Orange County detectives came out there because I ended up coming out Tuesday night.
Yes.
I don't know if you remember seeing me or not that night. Okay. That was the first night we were at the apartment into the nighttime.
She doesn't remember. He said, I don't know if you remember seeing me. And she just went, okay. She doesn't remember anything. She's just in this, drug sort of medication-filled world where she hasn't got a clue what's going on. And of course, she's going through, with her daughter missing and everything, and all this realization hitting her. It's not, she's not in a good place. I don't know if you've ever had that feeling. I certainly have, when things that are happening in your life and you just cannot believe that they're happening. It is that very surreal feeling. It's just like, how did I get to this place? Where did it sudden, because things happen, don't they? And then you're just in this place. It's like surreal. And you're just thinking, how is this happening to me? How is this happening in my life? You cannot believe it. And it is that, I think that's the feeling that Jenn's got at the moment. It's like that. Am I going to wake up in a minute and this will all be a dream? She's probably thinking, God, I'll wake up in a minute. It's my medication. I'm having a nightmare.
Yeah, is that when you guys shut down the house for forensics?
Yes.
Okay. So
Tell us about that.
Okay. So earlier that day, I think Detective Hunt came, or somebody came, and asked Stephan for his cell phone. If he would willingly give it up so that they can look at it, or if they would need a warrant. And I remember him saying, should I have asked a warrant? Should I have? And I'm like, no, you gotta look at the height, give him your fucking phone. And I think we hung out in the house for a little bit, and then when you guys came in the evening, and you guys told us to wait outside, and we waited in my car, he started getting very anxious and very panicky, going, I want my phone back. I want my phone back. And I said, listen, at this point, it's their phone. It's theirs for fucking ever. I don't give a shit. We will buy you a new phone. It doesn't matter anymore. Whatever they need, they need. Like, let them look at it. And he's like, I just want my phone back. And I'm just like, are you trying to make yourself more suspicious? Because, like, if you were to go to bank your phone back right now, that would look suspicious as fuck. Like, what are you doing? I'm thinking he's just getting impatient because he's bored and wants to play on his phone. And at one point, he takes my phone to start playing with it. I gave it up, and I said, here, play on my phone. Have fun. Because
play on my phone like he's a fucking 12-year-old. You know, it's like he can't. Here, play on my phone. He's 37. If he can't go without his, and like she said, and I see what you're saying, Kelly, she does sometimes have a clear memory, but I think what she doesn't have a good memory of, it's not so much the things that happened, it's more when they happened. So like she'll remember that he was going on, he wanted his phone back, but she won't remember maybe what day that was if they asked her, I don't know. But yeah, fancy saying, oh, here, I'll play on my phone to a grown man. You know, that is definitely, when my son was younger, that'd be something that I would have said to him, because he, you know, what kids are like, they won't be without, they've always got to be these days playing on the phone, on the PSP or whatever the, you know, portable games that they have. But he's 37, or he was 36, was he then? You know, and she's saying to me, I'll play on my phone like he's some sort of teenager. Oh dear, oh dear. I mean, Stephan, you know, there's some big issues there with Stephan. And the what age was he in his head, for God's sake?
From my phone, he was trying to log into his emails, but he couldn't, because you need like 2-factor authentication from your own phone. And I'm just like, what are you trying to look at? And he's like, oh, my shipments, my packages. He's addicted to buying shit. That's another thing. Me and his dad couldn't figure out where Stephan was getting money from to buy stuff, since he's been unemployed the last 2 months, but he's constantly buying himself packages, buying himself things off of Amazon, buying himself things off the line.
Is this stuff you can confirm, or you think he's doing this?
What?
Buying packages.
I can confirm because I am linked to his Amazon account, and his parents can confirm whatever UPS packages or whatever he's getting at home. But I'm linked to the Amazon account. If you guys have my phone, you'll see whatever shipment. I think most recently I did like birthday party. If you see birthday party stuff, that was me. But everything else, him. He's constantly buying stuff, and he doesn't have money. He keeps saying he's got money in his savings, but me and his dad call bullshit, because he hasn't had, when he lived with us, he was struggling. His dad was helping him pay his bills, paying his rent, paying his gas, paying his insurance. Stephan was helping us, you know, supporting us by buying food and all that stuff, but I don't know what he did with the rest of his money. And I don't know where he's getting money from now.
You were telling us that he was trying to log into
he's trying to log into his emails on his phone, and I said, 2-factor authentication.
Well, he gets his money from his mum and dad, doesn't he? He steals it from them.
You can't do anything. You're just going to have to wait till you get your phone back. What else? We waited in the car. I think at this point, when I noticed that forensics was locking down the house and you guys said we couldn't come back, I told him to call his dad. Because I had a feeling y'all knew something, and it was going to come down on him. And I'm just like, they're focusing on the wrong person. They have the wrong person. In my head, I'm convinced you guys were just, that you had the wrong person. I wanted to think that he was good.
Before we get ahead of that, what is the conversation like between you two when you're in the car? Because y'all were in there for a good while we were trying to figure things out at your apartment complex or your condo. What's the conversation like inside that car?
what exactly we were talking about. I know I remember late in the evening, like, when you guys let us know we couldn't come back, and I called his dad, or we called his dad. I started saying to him, like, I think they're focusing in on you. Like, you need to call your dad, and I think we need to get you a lawyer. I feel like they're focusing on the wrong person. He kept saying the same thing. He kept repeating what I was repeating. That they're focusing on the wrong person. They're wasting time there.
How do you feel when you say he needs a lawyer?
He didn't believe me. Like, when I told him, like, Georgia C. Forensics is closing down the house, they fucking know something, or there's something, like, they know something. Something's happening. They wouldn't be locking down the house this way if they didn't have suspicions of something. But I wasn't thinking, I don't know why I wasn't thinking him. Like, I was just like, no, they've got the wrong guy. He just kept saying that they have the wrong guy, that they're focusing on the wrong person, and that we're wasting time.
You know, she she really could not believe it was him. Now, I think what we have to remember as well, he'd never been aggressive or to her or to Madeline. You know, I think she was just. The thing is, these predators, they do it with love. You know, they do it with love. They don't necessarily do it with aggression. So if he'd been an aggressive person that would, I don't know, hit her around or hit Madeline around or shouted at Madeline or whatever, maybe she would have thought differently. But as far as she's concerned, it's a guy that's been in their lives for quite a long time. I'd say not just someone she's just met that she doesn't know anything about. As far as she's concerned, she knows a lot about him because she's known him for a good few years. And she just couldn't believe that it could be him. She just could not believe it. And I think a lot of people would feel the same about their partner, ex-partner. Be like, well, that can't be possible. You know, well, I had a friend actually, her ex-husband, her new husband, she had her ex-husband's computer, and her new husband, who's like a bit of a computer buff, he found a load of child pee on this computer of my friend's ex-partner. She had no idea. They didn't have children. It wasn't their children. God knows whose children it was, or whether it was off the internet or whatever. Anyway, he went to court and he did get prosecuted for it. But he had all these images on his computer. And as much as she'd separated from her ex, she didn't think he was that. You know, she'd had no idea that he was into that sort of thing for all the time that they'd been married. So I really don't think you ever do know.
We call his dad. We tell his dad to come down here. His dad didn't come down here. That's at a hotel. That was another thing. I don't have that much money. I live off disability. I couldn't afford to put us up on a hotel. Like when you guys said that we couldn't return, I was like, I didn't know where to go. I was trying to think of anything I remember would have a spare room or anything like that, and not that could take the three of us. When I say three of us, me, him, and the dog. And I know at my mom's house we wouldn't have been welcome. My mom does not like Stephan. She's never liked Stephan. So I knew that our only option was to go to a hotel, but I couldn't afford it. So we called Chris, and Chris met us at our hotel.
So we know now, don't we, that her mum didn't like Stephan. Stephan was not invited to the birthday party. you know, be interesting to hear from her mum why she didn't like him, but she didn't. So at least she saw through him.
By Disney, of Western Life, and that's where we went. We got there pretty late. We checked in. I used the restroom, and I was getting ready for bed, or getting, like, laying down in bed probably around 3:30, 3:45 in the morning, and I fell asleep. Stephan was already asleep at this point.
Did you go straight to sleep when you got in, or just kind of drifted off as you were falling asleep? Like you went to the bathroom, did you go straight to bed?
He was already in bed before I went to the bathroom. I was on my phone for a little bit. He was laying in bed snoozing. I went to use the restroom. I was in the restroom for quite a while because I had like a terrible self. When I came back out, he was asleep. At least I thought he was asleep. But
Hey.
not in the hotel room. He stayed in a different room on the same floor. The following morning, I wake up, I think around 9 o'clock in the morning, and Stephan's not there. And I remember thinking, he left again without his phone and didn't tell anyone where he was going.
Yeah, so the following morning, they're in that hotel that Chris has paid for, and he's gone again without his phone, doesn't tell anybody where he's going. She must have been starting to dawn on her by now.
Suspicious as fuck again. Why is he trying to...
Suspicious as fuck.
But we took his phone, so you got a new phone.
He didn't get the new phone until later that day, where his dad woke up, came to our hotel room, and then handed him a phone. He said, here, have this phone in the meantime until you get your own phone back.
Oh, so you're just saying he's out and about with no phone?
Yeah, he's out and about with no phone, so there's no way for us to contact him. There's no way for us to... I didn't know if he even knew how to get back to the hotel. Because I drove that night.
Yeah, he's out and about without his phone, so that there's no way of tracking where he is. Wonder where he was.
He's a little oblivious to when it comes to directions. So I'm just like, he's going to figure out how to get here. But he rolled in around 11:15. Rolled in with a cup of Wawa. And said, oh, I'm so sorry, I was just driving around. I grabbed some Wawa on 182 and got lost. I didn't know how to get back to the hotel. But I'm here now.
What is Wawa? I don't know what Wawa is. Does anybody in chat know what is Wawa? Because Shady had a cup of Wawa.
And I'm just like, detectives are about to show up. What the fuck would have happened if they showed up and you weren't here? Like, you would have been a fugitive. Like, what are you doing? And he just apologized for not telling anyone. I didn't even know where he was.
But you know, he had a lot of up. He said he was on the 192.
Yeah, but in reality, I know that he took my car in the middle of night to North Florida. I was down there for an hour and came back. I didn't expect that at all. I literally thought, I'm like, oh, this man, we were right next to like a Publix, a Target. So I'm thinking, oh, he's probably like stretch shopping. Just looking at stuff he likes to browse. It's like maybe he's in there somewhere. But I didn't have a car. I couldn't go out looking, right? And also, detectives were coming, so I didn't want to leave. Detectives eventually show up. We were in the hotel room for a while. He went back to sleep and slept. I took a little snooze for a little bit that morning, and then I got up, and then I went downstairs to the lobby, and I saw Chris. And Chris asked if I wanted some lunch, so we went to the hotel bar and ate some lunch. We brought up some lunch back for Stephan to eat a little bit. When he woke up, he took like 2 bites. Then shut up, we went downstairs. They let us know that there was a press conference happening, that we already had an idea what was going to happen. And they told us they would give us a ride and escort us to the conference here, and then you guys would let us in the back way so that we knew it was a reality. Now I know that was just in you guys. But yeah, and we showed up here and got separated. Haven't heard from him since. Haven't spoken to him since. Have no interest in speaking to him at all.
What have you done since? Where did you go back to the hotel? Did you see something else?
So after the interview and all that stuff, Chris took me to my sister's house. I've been at my sister's house ever since. Yesterday I went out for a little bit to go to Target and try to take my mind off of things. I went to Target to go get myself a toothbrush and deodorant, things that I didn't have because I left the house so last second. I also went to my ex-husband's wife's mom's house. We're all friends. Yeah, they consoled me, they just kept me company, they had me make lunch. Then I went back to my sister's house. I've just been pretty much there ever since. When I went to Target, I decided, like, oh shit, I shouldn't be out in public. People could recognize me. It can either be good or bad where people could tell me. I've already had people recognize me in my community, and dealing with people's heavy emotions and them coming to me and crying and telling me they're so sorry and how they feel is so heavy because I just have to kind of stand there and take their emotions and, like, I don't know, it's so heavy. When I realize that these are the interactions I was having in public, I need to stay home because I just can't carry anyone else's emotions right now. I have my own to deal with. Like, I don't want my own mental health suffering right now, or for me to spiral and end up being hospitalized.
So what did you meet Steve?
I met Stephan in 2017. We both worked for Eco Homes, a real estate company. I did appointments, and he worked in the office doing, like, warranty work. We met as coworkers. We became really good friends. We were best friends for like a year.
Best friends for a year before, they actually started having an affair. So we're having this fun and games about Wawa, aren't we? I'm just going to read out to you what a Wawa, because she said he came in and he was carrying a Wawa, carrying it. So it can't be a store, can it? So apparently it's a non-alcoholic feel-good drink, the plant-powered drink that redefines mindful drinking, non-alcoholic spirit. Get the upsides without the downs. A carbonated soft drink, a beverage typically containing water, fruit, juice concentrate, sweetening and flavouring. Yeah, that you can buy in stores, but yeah, I mean, it sounds horrible, I think, but it's like an orange carbonated drink, apparently. Wawa, a beer or a beverage you can drink on the way to wherever you're going. I don't know. They're different things that they say. I've got some. There's pomegranate flavour. Pomegranate flavour, orange flavour, citrus, cola, all different flavours. So he had a Wawa. So I suppose it's like having an energy drink or something. Oh, I forgot to press play again. Hang on.
And then eventually I asked him if he wanted to hook up, and he said, sure.
Oh, so she asked him if he wanted to hook up.
You said 17, 18, did you live in Orlando, Kissimmee, where were you guys? And did you guys live together in 17?
He technically lived at his parents' house, but he was staying at my house all the time.
Okay. The same house you're in now or a different house?
Wait, I take it back. In 2017, he wasn't staying over my house. It started in 2018 when he started hooking up and started sleeping over my house.
Okay.
And what were we doing?
Was that in the current
Yes.
house you live in now?
Yes.
Okay. How long have you lived in that house?
On and off. Because at one point we moved close to where his parents live right now in
Right. I'm laughing to myself about Wawa Gate. Wawa Gate. Nobody knows what Wawa is. Let's have a look. I'm going to show you Wawa in a minute. Here it is. So none of us have ever heard of it, but this is a Wawa, apparently. Protein drink. I don't know. Supposed to be good for your brain. I've never heard of it. Never ever heard of it. But anyway, this is it. Wawa. And it must be popular in America. Okay, let's go back to the video. Now we all know what a Wawa is.
They live in North Port Florida, Sarasota County. I lived in Port Charlotte, which is Charlotte County, the county right next door. We had an apartment there for like 6 to 8 months. We moved down there because, again, Stephan was promised a job and that fell through. So we supported ourselves in this tiny apartment for a little while until I ran out of funds.
Do you remember what year that was?
2020.
So when did you live in Port Charlotte in 2020?
I don't remember what month I moved in, but I remember moving out in November.
Not 2020.
Yeah. So it was something.
Yeah, did you used to wear a Wawa skirt? It's a Wawa skirt. Remember when they were in fashion? It's definitely a drink because she said he came back and he was carrying a Wawa. So he won't be carrying a gas station, would he? So it's definitely a drink. Right, this is redacted. This is not my sound. This is, for some reason, this has been completely taken out. So God knows what's being said here. But it's been taken out completely of this video. Yeah, quite a big edit here. Wonder what they're talking about. Yeah, wonder what they're talking about. There's such a long edit.
At the same time, no, but I've had ex-husbands and ex-boyfriends live in that same house before.
I think they must be talking about maybe Jenn's relationships that she's had. I don't know. Maybe it's for privacy. I don't know. but this is all being edited out.
You moved to Port Charlotte sometime in 2020 for a few months, and then you came back to the same house.
After Port Charlotte, I went back to my mom's house for a little while.
Where's that?
In Hunter Street, Florida. Even before Port Charlotte, actually, the few months before I was in Port Charlotte, I was living at my mom's house.
With Stephan.
Around March 20, he decided he wanted to renovate the house and possibly sell it, so he told us to get out. So March 2020, so around COVID time, like 2 weeks after COVID was announced, I moved in with my mom. And I lived with her for a little bit. And then the Port Charlotte apartment happened. Moved to Port Charlotte, were there for a few months, came back to live with my mom, was there for a few months, and then I decided to move back. That he was moving out and like getting an RV and like living the RV life. So he needed somebody to take care of the house for him. So I said, yeah, I would do it, of course. So I moved in. I moved to the bed downstairs in Rossray. Eventually, Stephan did come. For a few years. It wasn't until like June of last year that I go upstairs to the guest bedroom upstairs because I just he's not a very clean guy. He's kind of a little hoarder, like collector. So my house was always a mess and everything.
Yeah, he's not a very clean guy. Remember what his parents said about the state of his room? And somehow I don't think they're that clean either.
The way that I wanted it to look. Or the clutter just gave me great. So I asked him to go upstairs and he did. He lived upstairs until December of last year. And then he moved to Northport, Florida with his parents. But they had promised him a job, but that fell through. So we were in the process of trying to get him to come back up here to get his job back in Disney and for him to move back into the house for a little bit. And I'm not sure long term. I know temporarily I was willing to accept him back.
Was that something out of convenience for him? Because you...
A little bit of both. We missed him. And I wanted to help him out, like make it easy, like give him a place, like a base to start at, and then for him to start looking for something else afterwards, on his own. But yeah.
You obviously.
Did you notice she said we missed him? I mean, did Madeline miss him?
Talk a lot? Is she a secret teenager? What is like your kind of day to day with her?
I would have said a normal relationship. I asked, she would tell me. I didn't think she was hiding anything from me. I didn't think she was lying to me about anything, but obviously she has secrets.
I mean, hindsight, all the stuff you found out over the past couple of days, we're going taking that out of the picture, your relationship with her.
Okay.
Like not looking back saying, okay, I was being lied to, like up until you found out some things that you've been told. You guys had an open communication relationship, you talk about
Everything.
life.
Yeah. If anything, she was a little bit more open with Stephan because she told him about a boy she had a crush on.
Yeah.
And,
yeah, this keeps coming up, doesn't it? She told him about a boy she had a crush on. I just think that's a complete lie, to be honest. I don't think for 1 minute that Madeline will have told Stephan about a boy she had a crush on. There's a reason that he said this to Jenn. And I think that's because he's either planning on, trying to blame Madeline's pregnancy, if she was pregnant, on the boy she had a crush on, or that was or maybe she did tell him and that's why he got annoyed. But would Madeline have told him that she had a crush on a boy? He's mentioned it a lot. He's mentioned it to Jenn. Jenn's taking it up and she's mentioning it, but she only knows because of what Stephan told her. Madeline has never mentioned this boy she had a crush on to Jenn.
She described him, and Stephan's like, "Are you aware that she has a crush on a boy?" I said, "No." He's like, "Yeah, she told me. I think he's tall and she likes his fluffy hair."
When was this? Remember this conversation happened?
Within the last week, sometime, but I'm not
Oh,
sure.
okay.
Like within, so we saw. So within a week of that Sunday, I'm not sure if she had told him via phone chat. It must have been via phone, like phone conference, like we don't FaceTime, we Google Meet. The Android version of FaceTime, yeah. So we would Google Meet often. Sometimes when we get home from school, just talk all day, or sometimes not even talk all day. We would just bullshit. I would be doing my own thing. You'd be doing. We're just keeping each other company on the phone. And I think in one of those conversations, she told him that she had a crush on a boy. But I checked those text messages with that boy, and nothing seemed weird either. So.
How did he? I mean, it could be new. She sees a guy in school. She thinks it's attractive. He shows her attention when she's young. How did he take it? Was he like? And I want you to think back before you know things you know now. Did he seem concerned about her? Did he seem excited for her? Like she's starting to be a kid, have crushes and everything else.
He seemed happy for her.
Okay.
He's like, "Yeah, did you hear this? This is super cute." And I was like, "Oh, I had it. She had it told me." And I wondered, I'm like, "Why didn't she tell me? Why did she tell him and not me?" And like, I want to know who she got a crush on. But maybe it's because I told her she had a rule. She wasn't allowed to date for a few years. Until like, I think I had said 16 or something like that. But I just want her dating.
So then your relationship with
Thing is, she thought she was so in control, didn't she? Oh, I told her I didn't want her dating for the next few years, not knowing that this guy, her own partner, is already, taken Madeline's innocence away. It's too late, Jenn. You would have been better off letting her date. So she's told Jenn she can't date for a couple of years. She's thinking she's so in control, and all the time, all that was going on right under her nose.
there was open. Obviously, she's a child. She's not going to share everything.
Yeah.
With him, it seems like she has a very open relationship with him. They talk, they hang out. So it'd be okay with you if they went out and did things together outside if you were at work or something? So the living situation with them, I'll be honest, seems weird. It's weird to me. She's got a bedroom downstairs. What's kind of the mindset or the thought process, the communication you've had with Stephan about, she's not going to sleep in her bed, but you guys are going to sleep in the guest bedroom?
So originally, the plan was that all three of us were going to sleep in my bed together.
And I'm not just saying Sunday, I mean like.
Oh, okay. So I had a rule. She wasn't allowed to sleep in his bedroom at all. Like, no sleepovers, no nothing. For a very long time. For years.
No sleepovers. This is her partner she's talking about, not Madeline's mate from school. No sleepovers. What is this weird childish language? Dear me.
Since we're pausing,
Yeah.
what brought that on? Was that like a request of his? Like, can we sleep in the same bed? Request of hers? Or you just saying?
Me being super paranoid, not to trust anyone. For the longest life, even though he treated her well, I still looked at him on, like side eye, like making sure, like, is that normal? Is this okay? That was normal. Okay. I wanted to make sure that nothing was happening and that I was missing something, but he never requested. I'm sorry. Repeat the question.
So I guess you said like you had a rule, like
She keeps forgetting the question, doesn't she? She's just totally in another world. So she's trying to say that she was paranoid and she didn't trust him and all that in the beginning. Where did it sort of change? It really does make me think, was he? I can just imagine him. So she's sort of saying, no, you're definitely not having a sleepover. And him just thinking, oh, just stick a bit more medication and she won't have a clue what's going on. Oh, God, he knew her so well, didn't he? He did. I think so. The more I watch this, I think no doubt he was slipping extra tablets for her as well. Just feels like that, doesn't it? She keeps forgetting what question she's being asked.
obviously we know now they've slept in the same bedroom together and everything else. I'm sure you're questioning a lot of things that like you haven't been told or that are going on. The thought process of them sleeping in the same bedroom caused you to say that you had a rule for the longest time where they couldn't.
Yeah.
I have some. He's a lot younger than her. He's 4. But I guess if I was dating somebody or had somebody over, I would never establish it's just a rule. He can't sleep in the bed with her, or she's not going to be. It wouldn't even be a thought process for me, so that's why I asked, because I wouldn't think of it even as an option.
Yeah.
So when you say you had a rule, I guess I'm asking what prompted the rule.
Sleepovers before. Yeah. Like, you want to watch movies and eat snacks? Can we do that? I'm like, no. We can all watch movies down here together. We can all sleep down here together. Up until.
See, this movie thing is a red flag. So when I was watching Grey Hughes and the lady that phoned in about her experience, which was very similar to Madeline's, she said that they would lie and watch movies under covers with all the family around and he would be abusing her under the covers in full view. Well, obviously not in full view because they had a blanket over them or whatever, but literally with everybody in the room, they would be all snuggled under a blanket, her abuser, and he would literally be assaulting her underneath the blanket in full view of the parents, etc. So, it makes you work. It's all this snuggle time. Oh, snuggle time. Let's watch some films. Even if she was there, would she even notice? She's so bloody oblivious. She probably fell asleep. If she's anything like me, as soon as I get in bed to put a film on, I just fall asleep. I can't watch films in bed because I never see further than the first 15 minutes. I expect and I'm not even on medication.
Up until June. All the time. So we were always. She would sleep in the middle. I would sleep on this side. He would sleep on the other side. It wasn't until June that he got his own bedroom and I sent him upstairs. That's where the requests for sleepover started. And I kept telling her no. I'm not comfortable with that. But eventually at some point, like, we really want to watch that. I forgot what movie it was. They really wanted to watch something and I was really tired.
Yeah.
I said, okay, fine. Go ahead, but this can't happen often. But honestly, I think I can count on one hand how many times I've talked to him. It has been many times that I go out there to have a supper party with him, to be alone in the bed with him. I'm usually around all the time. Up until 2 weeks ago, I was pretty much at home all the time living on disability. if I wasn't at home, just, I was substitute teaching, but I was substitute teaching primarily at her school or at the school close by, but I made sure I get out around the same time and I get out at the time.
So she was substitute teaching. How was she doing that? She doesn't know what day it is. How was she substitute teaching? So she was on disability, then she was substitute teaching, then she gets this job at Disney World. It's all like a bit surreal, isn't it? Now, I've got to say, we're not even halfway through this interview yet, so I don't think we're going to be able to do the whole thing. I'm going to have to, we'll go on a little bit long with the actual interview. We've listened to 1 hour and 8 minutes. We'll listen till 1 hour and 15 minutes. And then I think I'm going to have to finish it for now and do the rest tomorrow because it's too long, isn't it? But it's been interesting. Anyway, we're going to listen to another 7 minutes yet.
Take her. So she was with me pretty much all the time when she wasn't in school. So yeah, after.
When he's not there, where does she sleep?
With me.
She never sleeps in her room.
No, always with me.
Quickly, do you know? You may hate the question. Do you know? Do you have any idea? We currently have upwards of probably 200 people working on finding. Right, the Orange County Sheriff's Office is involved, the Police Department's involved, St. Cloud Police Department, Osceola County Sheriff's Office, Florida Department of Law Enforcement, FBI. That's under suspicious circumstances. So anybody who is somebody is involved.
Yeah.
So regardless of the circumstances, those people don't get to go home. Those people don't get to go back to their families. Those people don't get to live their lives, go back to their primary jobs. I know the sheriff has probably expressed to you that's his #1 priority. I'm sure the police department's expressed that to you, our detectives. This isn't something that's going to stop or go away. Right? Anybody who knows something, anybody who may know something, is right from the world, who we talk to, whether they're guilty, whether they're innocent, is our #1 priority. Our jobs have kind of stopped. I mean, the other things we have going on until it's fine. That's the most important thing anybody has going on right now. But with that, a lot of people are going to feel that whatever happened, I can tell you, I know detectives have expressed to you that the thought process at this point is this is an homicide investigation.
Yeah.
Based on the evidence I've seen, based on the videos I've seen, I do believe. With that being said, and the reason I tell you that not to be an asshole is because the thought process with us leads it in a different investigation, a different way. Meaning, whatever has already happened, right?
Oh.
We cannot change what happened most likely on Monday. We cannot change the fact that I believe Stephan killed her, right?
Oh.
All we can do now is find her as quickly as possible. On the 2% chance we're wrong that she is alive, that's phenomenal, right? That's the best thing that could happen. On the chance that we are 100% correct and she has passed away, finding her now versus later will bring closure to your family, will bring closer to everybody, regardless of how it happened or why it happened. Meaning, if you have an inclination, if you know where she's at, if his father knows, that doesn't mean those people get held accountable for what he did. It doesn't mean those people get held accountable for knowing what he did. It means we close out the investigation. You know what I mean? So a lot of times we go into rooms like this and we ask people questions. We say, hey, do you know what happened? Do you know what happened? And there's this fear of what happened already happened. I can't change that, so I'm not going to insert myself with knowledge because it's going to make me look bad. Regardless, at this point, murdered her, right? You victimized her. You ruined her entire life from childhood until now. I think that there's probably some sense of guilt.
You know, I think with Jenn having this said to us so just seeing it for what it is. I don't know how people can't feel sorry for Jenn. When he said that, he ruined her whole life from childhood to now. It's all dawning on Jenn, and she just looks broken to me. I don't know how people see this sort of evil person. I certainly don't see that. I see a broken woman there, and I just can't imagine how it feels for her. Awful.
Here is that sense of guilt is causing you to not want to assist the location of her, not because you're a bad person, but because there's that sense of guilt that what was happening under your roof. And now, by her being found, brings that all to your plate, and it doesn't.
Oh no. If I knew anything, I would so tell you. I wanted to meet the she's dead because you guys tell me you're suspicious, but I'm not going to believe it until I have her body.
So there are things, and the reason I say these things, and again, I'm not trying to be an asshole, but the reason I say these things is there's been a lot of things you said, and a lot of things I've kind of researched between the 535 story, between your initial statement to the police. A lot of things have changed. The initial statement to the police was you watched her get dragged, you watched her leave, you knew exactly what she was wearing.
Can I tell you
Absolutely.
my thought process on that, or where I came from with that? I was handed this form, and I'm like, where do I start? What do I write? And somebody said, tell them what you saw. And so I started with I saw, and then I wrote out what I wrote out. But it wasn't until later I was like, wait, I didn't see her. I assumed that I saw her. I assumed that I heard her, but I didn't. In reality, I didn't see her. I only saw him.
Yeah, and he probably said, well, don't you remember? You saw her, you heard her, you said you saw her and heard her. Jenn is so easily suggestible, so easily led. Anyway, that's just my opinion. I know not everybody will share that opinion, but that's how it feels to me. Jenn, if you suggested anything to Jenn, she would say it. It's like she hasn't got an independent thought.
I heard something in the kitchen, but I don't know who that was.
Which we talked about today. But I guess there's other concerns. Right? You were nervous. The police have showed you their hand. They said, Stephan, we want your phone. Stephan, we want to talk to you. You're in a lockdown. Your residence. You can't go back inside. I don't care if it's the love of my life sitting next to me. I don't care if it's maternal grandma. If the police come and take my mom's phone and my son's disappearance, I'm not going to offer my mom a lawyer. That's nuts to me. That to me shows you prioritizing stuff. Because at that point, you became more worried about him being falsely accused than anyone. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Whether or not that's what you felt, does that make sense? People having lawyers is their constitutional right. That is a thing that everybody's afforded. But for somebody who's going through what you are going through, to offer him a lawyer leads me to believe that there may have been a conversation, there may have been knowledge, or there may have been some inclination that you had, whether it be his involvement, her location, or something to where in your mind there's guilt. Because you offering him a lawyer is very weird.
I know. That was still me under the assumption that I think at one point you guys interviewed me, and when you guys showed me the picture of her, I believed the sexual stuff, but I didn't want to believe that he had done anything evil to her. I'm like, no, what if he did this stuff fine, but what if she's still missing out there? What if somebody
See your way of talking. When you showed me the picture of the sexual stuff, I thought, oh, well, yeah, he's done the sexual stuff, but I didn't want to think he'd done anything cruel to her. So she's like, I think what Jenn's doing, and I mean, it sounds awful, I know, but she's compartmentalizing in her mind. It's like, well, yeah, she's going through these they're almost like stages, aren't they? So she didn't believe that he'd been doing anything to her sexually initially, but then they showed her the photo, so she had to believe that. But now she doesn't want to believe that he's killed her. Well, okay, he did that to her, but no, there's no way he would have killed her. She's sort of separating it all in her head and trying to come to terms with it all in her head. And in the meantime, she's medicated off her brain. She can't even think straight. You can see that in her, the way she's doing it. So it's, it all looks, to the outside eye. Of course, people will be watching it and saying, oh, well, how could she say that? I didn't think he'd do anything cruel to her. It was cruel enough what he was abusing her and that. But she doesn't mean to say she doesn't think that was bad. She's just trying to process this on different levels. Well, she's getting used to, so, he abused her, and she's like, oh, let's just separate that. But she can't be dead. He can't have killed her. She's like going through a process. And anyway, that's how it strikes me. And the reason that also I think that is because I think the police know that. The police get instincts about people. They know. After this long interview with Jenn, I'm sure as much as they wanted to find Madeleine, they're trying their best to find some evidence against Jenn, but I think there just isn't any. And they're sort of starting to see what kind of person she is. But anyway, we've got a long way to go. I'm going to break there because, it's a very long video. There's more than, we're not even halfway through yet. So tomorrow, what day is it tomorrow? Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday, tomorrow, we'll go through the next half of it. Now, going back to today, to later. So don't forget, in the in the members live tonight, in the carry on chatting members live, we're going to be doing the paranormal. We're going to be talking about some true ghost stories, and I hope you'll find that interesting. I'll see you later, and thank you for being here with me. Don't forget to like. Let me just take this off so that I can say goodbye properly. Yeah, so I'll see you later, if you remember, and I'll see you tomorrow, if not, and take care. We'll have a little, hey Heather, didn't see you sneak in there. Yeah, we're going to look at the ghosts of Charlton Park, Heather. You probably know Charlton Park, maybe. We're going to look at some twin ghosts of Charlton Park, which is a true ghost story. Okay. I'll see you then. Take care, and until I see you again, may your God always go with you. So we're going to have a little candle for Madeleine and a little tribute video that I've got that we're going to watch, just a short one, and I'll see you, and then my little video.